In this video, I'll show you a bit of a sneaky strategy that mainly the fake gurus and also reportedly the Trump campaign used to hack certain features of Facebook in a way that would allow them to build a huge social engagement and then use that engagement to create highly converting ads and to build social trust very easily and quickly. And this is a combination between two techniques, one called dark posts and the other one called engagement hacking. So in this video, I'll show you how both of these work. Now, first, what you need to do is you need to create what's known as a dark post. Right, so the way to create a dark post is you have to go here to your business tools inside of Business Manager and go to page posts, right? You can't do that, or at least I don't know any other way in which you can do that. And then you go here to ads and then you create a post. Now that will allow you to create a page post, but that post is actually not going to be published. So you don't have to publish this post to your page before you do this. In this case, I will choose a photo. Let's just upload a quick photo and say Masters Academy is on AppSumo. Right. The important part of this is this setting over here. That's actually what allows you to create an unpublished page post, also known as dark post. And you can only use this post for an ad, or you can use this post for an ad, but it will also be published to the page later, which will also allow you to add locations on that. That doesn't really matter too much if you add the locations or not. So it's not what we are talking about right now. But definitely leave the option open to publish that post later on, because it will build a huge engagement, and that can help you create a much more engaging post later on. Now that you have created this post, the technique that we are going to use, and you need to refresh that. Now we have our unpublished posts. Right, then as you can see, if I go and refresh my business page, this post is not going to be seen by anyone, hence the name dark post. Let that refresh. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. Once the page refreshes, you'll see that that post won't be here. Let's just do a quick check. It's loading kind of slow. So let's see, let's take a look at the posts. Right, anyways, we don't have that post over here. That's the point of it. And just to show you why we are doing this, the idea of the whole thing is that you first can build a huge social clout, what's known or also known as a huge engagement. And that engagement is going to build trust on your ad. Just to give you an example, I have two ads here that have already been running for a long time. One is from Promo, and the other one is done by us. So this one we did for Dreamcatchers, and this, as you can see, it has 271 comments and 166 shares. Now this ad has been seen by more than 2 million people, and we've spent at least $30,000 on this very creative. And it works very well, but as you can see, the engagement that it gets is not that huge, and we've spent an enormous amount of money for a single ad on that one specifically. So it's kind of hard to get engagement on ads in general. And if you take a look at some of the Trump campaign posts or some of the fake gurus, I won't name any of them right now, but they employ this tactic a lot. And that's why you will often see that they have tons of comments and shares and like on their posts before they actually turn them into ads, just so that they can build that trust. And it actually helps you stop people when they're scrolling through their feed because they see something with 10,000 comments or 100,000 likes, and then that really helps you have a more impactful ad. Right, so the way this is done is you need to go back to Ads Manager, and inside of Ads Manager we are going to go to our to create a new campaign, and we will select engagement as the objective, and we want to keep the post engagement objective over here, and we'll continue to create that campaign. We'll use our name templates, and that will be the dark posts campaign, and we don't need any of the other options. The campaign objective is going to stay as post engagement, and we don't want CBO on for these types of campaigns. And then we'll move on to the ad set. Now on the ad set level, what we do is, let's say we're going to give it $20 budget. You don't need to give it a huge budget, but what we are going to do is let's give that ad set a name. We can again use our name templates, and this will be from the dark posts campaign, and the goal of it will be dark post engagement. Right. So now here's the trick. What you want to do is you want to select the cheapest countries on Facebook, and I have created you a list for that. You can just copy that, and when you go to your settings, what you want to do is add locations in bulk. You want to select countries, paste that over here, and match these locations. Always when you match locations, you need to be careful because not all of them are going to be actual countries. So you need to check it. We have these countries over here. The United Arab Emirates is not one of these countries, so we don't want it. You might have to remove it. Now we add these 44 locations, and you can see what happens with our audience definitions. 1.3 billion people, but those 1.3 billion people are from the cheapest Facebook countries that you can imagine. Countries like Afghanistan and India and Bangladesh, where Facebook advertising is very, very, very cheap. And now this allows us we are going to leave, we can even widen the range from 13 to 65. Of course, be careful, but we got another 100 million people over here, and the wider the audience, the cheaper it is. That's why we want kind of a very wide audience of very cheap people, and you can see that we can reach between 11,000 and 32,000 per day. Now our campaign does not have its dates set. So let's say that we want to put an end date, and we will put that end date to be, let's say, the 31st of October. This will kind of make it run through that $20 in 3 days. You can do it for 5 or 7, doesn't really matter too much. So what happens here is you can also click the reach people beyond your targeting expansion. Since we don't have any detailed targeting, it's not gonna matter, but anyways, you want to leave the automatic placements on because you want to be able to show that everywhere where it's possible. And then you go to the ad. When you go to the ad, you need to select your Facebook page, and you want to use an existing post. And then when you go to select that post, you will find that dark post over here that is not going to be created. Now, a few important disclaimers on that. what you really don't want to do when you do this kind of strategy is you don't want to create custom audiences that include the people that saw this post, right? That's one thing that you should be very careful about, because this is just used for you to create a lot of likes and shares and comments on your post so that it looks more credible and gets you a better conversion rate and better engagement with your real audience. That means that if any of these countries from the list of cheap countries is a country that you're actually targeting, it's generally recommended that you exclude that, because here's the list. You can read it, of course. You generally want to exclude that because then you might be targeting the same people, and you just want to build the quick engagement. And then once you have done that, you can use that post in your conversion campaigns. And just basically when you create your ad, you will do the same and kind of use an existing post. And this post will already have a huge engagement built into it. And it will have thousands of likes and shares and comments for basically pennies or cents or just a very, very small amount of money. For as you can see here in our data, we'll get between 900 and 2.6K engagements. So that would mean that this post will get at least like 1,000 likes, maybe 500 shares, something like that, and lots of comments. And if your post is actually cool and engaging, it might get even more than that, which is very, very nice. And then when you create your conversion campaigns, you can use that post to advertise and then get a lot of conversions. Now, some additional things that need mentioning over here is that basically you don't want to be targeting that audience in general. This is not your target audience, so that's fine. Just use them to build the engagement cheap and quick, and then maybe you can use that for your ads in the United States or the UK, somewhere where it's more expensive, but it has already built that social cloud. Now, another thing, how do you recognize these types of ads? For example, if you see an ad and you see that it has a huge amount of engagement, it's a good idea for you to open the comments and see who are the people who are commenting. And you will see that this will most often be people from India and Bangladesh and Pakistan, because advertising, and Indonesia generally, because they are huge populous countries, and Facebook advertising there is very, very cheap. And that's why advertisers use that to build that engagement before they create their ads. Especially, we know that the Trump campaign has been doing this, and they got some negative pushback for this, but they succeeded. So this is the previous one, not this one that's happening in 2020. So now that you have built this engagement, and let's say you build your thousands of likes, you can then use that for your conversion campaigns, as I already said. So we will close that, and then we can create a new campaign. We want to create a new campaign that's going to be conversions, and we will name it, let's say, right. This will be our direct offer, where we'll send, for example, the people to sign up and buy a Masters Academy on AppSumo with a huge deal, right? So what we want to do then is we want to move on to that. We want our event to be a purchase, let's say, or in this case, if we want to send them to AppSumo, this will be a click. Let's say it's a view content, just for this case of example. And then when we go to the ad, the targeting settings, of course, will be our own targeting settings. And then when we go here, we are going to use an existing post, select this one, which has already thousands of likes, shares, and comments, and we can use it. Now, another good piece of advice for this is that you can actually try this with different types of creatives and use the cheap countries and building the social cloud for this. Use them to A/B test what people tend to respond to more. Sometimes the difference will be so dramatic that it doesn't matter that this is not your target audience. It will kind of show you which ads are more engaging, more socially stopping, meaning that people will, when they're scrolling through their feed, they will stop and take a look at this ad and maybe engage with it. And then the ones that get the most engagement will be the ones that you can later use for ads. And this is also a quick and cheap test that you can run to see which are your best creatives, and you don't actually have to run them to your a much more expensive target audience. So it's another way for you to save money when creating campaigns. So the ways that you would do that is you would maybe create 5 different posts with 5 different images, and then run an ad campaign for $10 to see the engagement on all of them. And this way, for $50, you can see which one is the most engaging. It will already have that huge engagement that you build. And then when you run it as an ad, you will kind of make the $10 back out of the trust and the conversion rates that you get from this ad that already has a huge social engagement. Right, I hope that you like this kind of sneaky tactic, and you can find a list of the cheap countries in the course resources as well as the library. And please do try this technique out and let us know how it goes on Discord, and if it helped you build any better results. Right, that's it for this video, and we're moving on.